Hey, Sev. I'm just looking at the Discord right now after having to share the stream out. That was good. Grilled cheese, mustard, and lunch meat. Happy birthday as well. That's cool. Yeah, just as you were asking me. Yes. It's so funny. Skyrim is for the Nords. You're welcome. But yeah, I want to talk a bit about Charlie Kirk and everything going on with that. I'm going to wait till people join because I have some thoughts on that. I want to give my take on this and just talk about whatever else is going on. Others right off the bat. It takes time sometimes. Hello, Gina. Regel, hello. Put my wet laundry in the dryer. That's great. That's great, Undersky. You are, Moon. Welcome. Belgium? I hope I said that right. I see it. I may not agree with everything you said. Be mindful for your speech is God given in the U.S. I will withhold until more people are here, till we're a bit farther into the stream. Two kids and made a widow. I mean, yeah, that in itself is never a good thing, regardless of the person. It always sucks if children are losing a parent. Bro, what? What do you mean, what? Gun? I'm gonna drink some more. You're fine. Have you heard about Charlie Kirk? I mean, that's... You see the title? Not to be a smartass, but yes. That's what I'm talking about. We got 9/11, 9/10. Okay, that's... I think that's a bit much. Astro, what is your name now? I can't read it. Welcome to the stream, but what is your name now? RB, Ryan, welcome. Thanks. The fact he's talking about school shooting at himself, shot himself, America's bizarre. There's a lot of... It's very poetic how everything came together. Hello, Cosmic. Going tragedy for tragedy. We're definitely in a very... it's an era of turmoil. We're definitely at an extreme of it this decade. Mr. Puzzlies. I'm happy someone can read it, because I personally can't. I'm still broken after JPEG called me a rent. I completely forgot about that. He did. He did in the call. Which, guys, for those who don't know, I'm now doing VC calls in the server for Discord. So if you want to be a part of the occasional call around once a week we're going to be doing, make sure to join. Or we're going to chat for a little bit and see about things in the future. The Queen 9/11, now Kirk. That's I'm sorry, I just don't see it being in the same stratosphere as 9/11. 60 years ago? Well, 60 years ago was very much in extreme turmoil as well. Granted, every decade has had its issues. Political assassinations are nothing new, but it's very much an extreme era of things, especially with how exposed everything is. Social media definitely plays a role in us just seeing more of what's already been there. It's just extremism just picking up, which I think now is a time to start getting to it. Civil War, some riots. I mean, I would say in some ways we already have been there with that. America's dark China, the U.S. and everything. Yeah, the U.S. is no longer number one. We haven't been for a while, specifically since the start of this year. 9/11, at least in the UK. I don't agree one bit because you're comparing someone who died from older age compared to a really fucked up event. All the issues, get so much flack from trolls and keyboard warriors. Yeah, these people have always existed, these keyboard warriors and trolls. It's just we live in an era where now they have the space to communicate. Had never been split politically. It's been worse. Our roots as a country started being split. It's ingrained. It is our core to be split. It doesn't have to always be, but that's how it started for us. Mass shootings in the last 10 years has developed a lot, considering in 30 years it was the lesser people. A penguin bit off my entire clock and brawls. Current state, we can just pray. Okay, well, in the case of Hulk Hogan, he can burn in a fire. Ozzy Osbourne, he definitely had his issues too, but there's a difference in legendary status. Looking for what happened to the Burger King foot lettuce guy? Did he die? Now, I can't really specify this year being fucked up because I remember in 2018 a lot of people were saying that was a bad year because of all the celebrity deaths. Which, I mean, yeah, it sucked people died, but people die all the time, famous or not. Not to be apathetic towards the loss of people, but no matter the era, people are always going to be dead. What country is better? America? It's not about what's better. It's about what's most fucked up. No one's talking about what's specifically better. Just about the issues we have. If you can't acknowledge there's issues and you have to ask a question of what about this country or how is that one better named that, then you're missing the point of what's being talked about. Hello, Chasp. Split in the 1860s. We've been split since July 4th, 1776. Our roots prior to that were just that. Independence Day is literally based in gaining independence from fractures. What was it, the 12 different colonies before it all got converted into 50 states? About how tragic events are happening in September. Well, I mean, events happen regardless of the season or month, but I don't really see, aside from these few events, what makes it special. Does it make you question the fact that our government understanding of somebody's death and free speech should have been handled in a much professional manner? Let me read that again. Does it make you question the fact that our government understanding somebody's death and free speech should have been handled in a much professional? What do you mean? He died. I mean, yeah, but people. I mean, I'm not going to act like I'm cheering for someone in the situation. Which, let me actually start talking properly about this. In the case of Charlie Kirk's death and the assassination attempt and what happened, which I don't know who's seen the footage here, but you can find the footage online, and it's pretty gruesome. Just all the blood that's just pouring out of the vital artery. I think jugular, I saw someone point out. It was very clearly a calculated attempt. It was very much calculated. It was too intentional. It's very obvious. That's something everyone's been saying, and it's safe to say this is someone who has experience knowing how to handle weaponry. Maybe not someone who's military. I've seen some people say that. It could be that, but it very much is someone who knew what they were doing. And the fact that this person apparently still hasn't been caught, this is someone who coordinated this. And I've seen a comparison, not to say these situations are the same, but I've seen someone say it's similar in a sense to JFK because of just how intentional it feels. This was not an accident, obviously. Not to say that JFK's circumstances were exactly the same at all, but it wasn't just some random motherfucker. It wasn't someone just mentally ill. Of course, when they find the person, they could potentially write it off that way. But they'll come up with some bullshit story about it. But and that's the thing. You got to wonder what the state of things is. Is this a way to blindside people from, say, the Jeffrey Epstein shit and other things? So, some may call me a conspiracy theorist for that, but I really can't help but wonder that. Let me keep reading. Its birth rate is nosediving. How we should U.S. should be willing to stopping wars, not funding them. If you gotta wonder why that's the case, then just know you got a lot to learn about how this shit works. The Rock lately, in terms of just his acting career and how he's gone about things and how he's slowed down on some roids. Yeah, I've seen what's been going on with that. I've also seen he's gone a different route with his acting career lately. It seems that Black Adam really did humble him with how that turned out, which I personally did enjoy my time watching it in the theaters, but I do understand why that would have the reality check it did towards him. Why it gave him the reality check it did. Healthcare. Have to pay. Yeah, people shouldn't have to pay for it. They shouldn't. Hello, Leo. Your boy Omni. That's right, 13, not 12, 13. It's good for a lot. That's also a point to be made as well, because you got to keep in mind the aspects of what makes China the country it is, the communist regime that it is. Because I'm not going to act like communism and how that's been handled. I'm not going to get in a tangent about that, especially as someone who isn't the most informed person in the world about it. I just know some things about it. And I think that with the right execution, something like communism, at least some aspects of it can work in a proper, well-balanced system. It just has to be done, because the idea of equality for everyone is a great system. But the issue is how it's used in the way that is by countries like China and Russia. And in terms of capitalism, just talking about that, capitalism can work, but it has to be done differently. There's too many faults with it, with how it's done with the current system of things. It's a very out of touch and broken system that needs a total revisioning. But that requires a lot of laws changing, a lot of people in power. There's a lot that just has to be changed from the core in order to just improve things, which it's possible. It will happen in time, I feel. Granted, corruption will always exist, but it's something that takes time. You know what the fuck I mean. Can you do a freestyle? No. But he had a fat... Yeah, and that's something else to say about Charlie Kirk. I didn't know about him prior to the episode South Park did making fun of him recently. I had no idea. But from what I've become aware of regarding him, he's your typical conservative debater, or as South Park put it, master debater. Cartman, as Charlie Kirk, talking about wanting to master debate to college girls, with the footage making it to where it's only people that have no idea what they're talking about that debate Cartman, which you know what they're doing there. And for what I've seen of Kirk's policies, well, let me actually read more before I get more to it, if you want to see the actual video. It's already identified? Really? I believe the House floor in response for government was more regards to our viewpoints. Holy fuck. Yeah, it's crazy. They keep saying that 200 yards sniper level shots not even close to true. Yeah, that in itself, I don't know about. Was blinding me Damn high. Hello, welcome, Valerius. A professional hit. Yeah, exactly. Come on, man. It wasn't just some random motherfucker with health issues. If that's what you think, you're delusional. Come on. Regardless of how you feel about him. From what I know about him, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't like him. I don't like what Kirk stood for. I think he was a pretty bad guy from what I've seen. I think a lot of his morals and beliefs are just... He even said it himself. This is not verbatim exactly what he said, but saying that in the case of the Second Amendment, it's necessary for gun violence to happen. And then next thing you know, he gets assassinated when talking exactly about violence with weapons, which it's look, I'm not saying that I'm going to laugh and prod here and celebrate his death, but there is something very poetic about that. It's very poetic. It just really feels like the saying, what comes around goes around in terms of what he was talking about. And I'm not saying this should have happened because regardless of how you feel, he's now a martyr. And it's not going to help the situation at hand here. Granted, the U.S. obviously has always had its issues. We live in a time where a lot of history this past decade, this whole decade has been repeating itself. COVID in many ways was a repeat of the Spanish flu. It was like modern day Spanish flu. Today's society experiencing what we did over 100 years ago. There was the Black Lives Matter protest happening in 2020 as well, which was, I would say, from what I know history, is very reminiscent of 1968. There's the recent assassination attempt, which slightly reminds me a bit of JFK because of certain parallels. There's other things that have happened as well. That events happened in September. They happen at any time. They're doing probably... Why would you think it would be anything else than that? Or why wouldn't it be someone who knows what they're doing? That was too calculated. Pissed off from how the angle gun was? It could have been. And the possession on the government for 8 years, bro. And Trump still isn't properly talking about it. Doesn't matter if it's in the possession. It's not being talked about. Trump said it himself. We're still talking about this? Yes. It's not going to stop being talked about. There's a school shooting with more people killed. I mean, look, that's obviously terrible. It's just Charlie Kirk is a well-known figure. And considering his ties to Trump and politics, of course, it's going to lead to more people talking about that. It's not a shock at all. You got to think about the context here, regardless of what's more tragic or not, which isn't to say it's a comparison. It's a matter of the fact that Kirk is just more known than this. And even then, we're so desensitized to shootings at this point with schools. It's just another Tuesday. And that's not me disregarding anything. That's just me saying it for what it is now. Sniper worthy? Especially the scope of that. Well, regardless, that doesn't change the point. You guys, you're missing the point with what I'm saying here. It's not about that specifically. It's about how it was very much intentional. On Christine Ohm's Yo, speaking of South Park making fun of shit, that episode was pretty fucked too. Trump will be the first on the list. Oh, I agree. A hit job, you don't 3,000 people. Bleh, hold on. It was very much a hit job. You don't enter an event with 3,000 plus people leave and disappear as a coincidence. Exactly, no. There was some orchestration there. Come on. There's no way it was just one person deciding, I'm just going to go to this event on this day with Charlie Kirk at this college and just happen to shoot him directly in a vital part of his throat, which will so happen to kill him within 2 minutes. Anyone who saw the footage will tell you for a fact. Anyone will tell you he was dead the moment that shit hit him. He was dead within minutes. He went limp right then and there. The fact that he was technically still alive, maybe it wasn't official then, but he very much was dead. It was just a matter of when they were going to announce it. Ain't no way anyone could ever survive that. This ain't Call of Duty Ghosts with fucking Rourke shot point blank with a .44 Magnum. This is real life. I'm sick of seeing The Rock. I'm sure a lot of people are, but he works. He does his job. He makes the money, and people are always going to show up for him. So, I mean, that's obviously not going to change. Oh, he's not on the list? Okay. Okay. So why don't they show the list then? Show the fucking list then. Show it. Heard the bullets used had Antifa graving on them. Don't know if it's true. Really? Really? I mean, I'm not going to just come to conclusions based off that, but That's interesting. Close to 144. Either way, hunters make shots like that. Yeah, it's like thinking that it's only veterans from war who have PTSD. It's like, no, anyone can have that disorder. Just like how anyone can become sharp as a marksman. Anyone can do that. More talk on Charlie. Yeah, God forbid people are talking about a controversial big topic that just happened yesterday. This is going to be something people talk about for a while. You don't like it, don't look it up, or just ignore it. This is something that's not going to stop. And this is something that I'm sure is going to become a point of contention when it comes to the midterms next year. 3 poster behind you, is that the Death Squad? No, that's New Vegas. Learn your facts, bro. Is that gambling? You might win or lose Russia, but China is winning. Are you left-wing or right? I'm independent. Because, and see, I've always wondered why I went with that label aside from just who I am as a person. It's because I don't believe in the idea of sticking with a certain label. That's not me trying to sound a certain way, sound pretentious. It's just, I don't like applying labels here. That's why I go independent ultimately. Because for me, my morals and principles are based on not a side or a team, as extremism is here, especially in the US with politics of one side or the other. That's why I don't associate as either left or right. I associate as independent, regardless of even if I'm someone who typically always votes left, because of what I completely disagree with on the right. I doubt he won most debates. I mean, dude, it's when it comes to that debating shit, a lot of that is just only showing footage of the libs being owned, like not really including anyone who actually knows how to debate. Because especially a lot of people in college are only just learning how to debate. They don't know how to fucking handle someone who knows how to compose themselves. And this isn't, well, I mean, they're, okay, how do I put this? It's just, in the case of a lot of right-wing figures like Tate, for example, or Kirk, a lot of them just know how to compose themselves, which I think it's just a matter of how they deal with their emotions in that moment, just lacking emotion. Whereas stereotypically, although there are a lot of very sensitive right-leaning people, a lot of them, but there's also stereotypically a lot of left-leaning people who can be sensitive and very emotional when it comes to handling their emotions during conflict or just a debate. Had a stroke on live TV, nobody notices. Oh, I mean, if he did, it's just a matter of people purposely acting like it didn't happen. Oh, he's fine. Just a little issue. Dude, even if Trump isn't actually dead, he's very much still he's very much still up there in age. The only reason that people don't look at it in the same way as Biden is because Trump is a lot more eccentric. That's something we can agree about with Trump. Anyone can agree with. For someone his age, he's very energetic. He's very eccentric. He's very much, you know? He very much has a lot of energy. And I have no doubt he was a total fucking degenerate gooner in his younger days. And I'm sure he still is one. He straight up said with his daughter Ivanka once, if Ivanka was not my daughter, perhaps I would be dating her. Like, come on. You gooning fuck, come on. More left-leaning, but odds very diverse, me and a few others more conservative. Yeah, although I don't associate specifically with a side, if I were to lean towards anything, I suppose it would be left. But even then. You deny God? Yeah, I don't necessarily believe in God like that. I do have my own beliefs about how the universe works, though. 9/11 Memorial, that was so bad. The generate. Well, from what I've seen, that wasn't AI. That was just poor editing. Because his finger wasn't gone in the footage. It was just, he was in a different position. You could see he still had 2 fingers on his hand. Or all 5. You had drugs? Charlie was not a bad guy? Yes, he was. What do you mean drugs? The fuck? Do people really care this much? Do people really care this much about a controversial event that has people up in arms talking about this? Guys, I get trying hard to be a contrarian, but at some point, it's just, you just sound dumb saying that. Of course, people are going to care. That's like saying next year, or if it does release next year, whenever Grand Theft Auto 6 releases, that's like saying,
People are still talking about this game the day after it came out. Yeah, it's a colossal fucking event. Of course, people are still going to talk about it. Who the fuck cares about Charlie Kirk? Oh my god. Guys, why are we... Oh my god. Holy shit. Holy shit. God. Holy echo chamber. Did you really compare the Spanish flu to COVID? Yes, I did. Because they're very similar. They're not exactly the same, but they're similar. It's very much history repeating itself. Are you fucking retarded? Shut the fuck up. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course I'm going to compare it. They're two massive pandemics that affected the nation. What the fuck are you talking about, you fucking dunce? What? Shut up. Motherfuckers say the dumbest shit. My god. What's up, that one dude? Is that he was talking about gun violence before it happened? To the whole... Yeah, it's fucked up regardless of how you put it. Oh, he certainly wasn't ashamed. And look at where it got him. Well, I'm not saying exactly like the JFK thing, but or assassination, but it was very much... There was certain parallels in terms of how coordinated it felt. Soft targets. Doesn't have to be calculated. Come on, it very much was. Come on, you can't tell me it wasn't. Come on. God, there's so many comments. Dude, there's so much here, I can barely keep up. I'm reading everyone's comments. Hello, used, and everyone else coming through. I'm trying to get caught up here. There's a lot of shit. It's a mental health problem. That's true. That's true. But it does reach a point where you got to question at what point does there need to be certain limitations set. I'm just going to go through random comments here. It was fake. Watch the show right before the blood. Okay. I get conspiracies, but this one is not it. He's very much dead. There's no way he survived that. He can't survive that. No one at that blank. No. That was no. Look, I'm not going to act like I'm sad over what happened. It's just the fact that this is just, unfortunately, this is another casualty as a regard of things that not only Charlie Kirk has talked about and the messages he's put through, but this is just a microcosm of the overall macrocosm of things. This is just where we're at with things, unfortunately. Very real. It was yeah, absolutely. It was already confirmed. It was confirmed yesterday. Man, yeah, no, that was way too vital of a shot. That shot was too clean. Come on. No. And the death of the Prime Minister of Yemen? What, because of a take he gave? Again, I really wasn't aware of Charlie Kirk at all prior to the last few weeks. So did CIA do it? Who the fuck knows? What's a woman, Michi? My beautiful girlfriend. That innocent person was killed for his opinions. It's just the fact that this is only gonna lead to negative ramifications politically. Is it weird that I don't follow Charlie Kirk in the day before he shot my feet? It was flooded of videos of him. I mean, that's a hell of a timing. So clean. It was. Like, come on. What should someone do if they don't agree with your opinion statement you have made in the past? Preferably, unless you're committing genocide like Stalin or Hitler, agree to disagree or just don't talk to people. Just don't talk to each other at that point. Granted, there's some things where with some opinions, I'm sorry, when they are that fucking ridiculous, I'm thinking, yeah, no, I just don't want to talk to you, period, because there's no agreement or disagreement there. There's just nothing to be said. But even then, I'm not going to go out of my way to kill you regardless of how fucking ridiculous I think you sound. Well, who says it's a them thing? See, this is my issue here. Because it's very much not just leftists who have been involved in violence, and more so it's been the other side. And to me, it's not even about deserving or not deserving. It's just it just shouldn't have happened, but it did, and now we're gonna see consequences of this. Mom's basement in a fucking bedroom that resembles more of an attic. God, y'all got some fucking seeing issues. I'm the one with glasses, but goddamn, even I got better vision than some of y'all, man. Like, it's crazy. Much more violence in the left. Yeah. It's not even about bias or let's agree to disagree as both sides. No, it reaches a point where some things I'm just not going to agree with you on. I'm sorry, I don't believe in fascism. I'm not going to agree with fascism. You know, ICE, aka American Gestapo. I don't agree. I'm never going to agree with that. That's Nazi shit. Poster where you get it? Thank you. I got it off Amazon. Got slimed? In the most intentional way, he got slimed. It's the Jews, Israel's not our out. The issue is the Israeli government, not the people. Let's not get it twisted. Which, look, I've been the opinion of just free Palestine and just ending the conflict, but let's not act like the people themselves are to blame. That's like blaming the Russian people for Putin's decisions. The people there are just innocent civilians. That ain't their fucking problem. Putin's doing what he's been doing since 2022. Real fascists didn't like Charlie. What I'll say about Charlie is I've seen apparently there's some right-wing dudes out there that think he's liberal. That think he's too liberal. Charlie Kirk, liberal? That's crazy work. Well, the problem is that it's not just about illegals, bro. It's very much just whoever. Nah. Fascist lost its meaning. In today's day and age, it's more perpetuated than ever. Charlie was a cocky? I'm just quietly looking through the comments here. That's why I'm silent right now, guys. What's up, nice kid? No, could you have to watch her? Yeah, in the case of kids, I mean, it sucks. And if we're keeping that, if we're going off of that point, I mean, think of all the kids that had to see that shit right in front of their faces. Think of all the young kids that had to. Yeah, no, like, from what I know of Kirk, I'm not a fan of the guy. I was not a fan of what he was about, but this was not the way to handle things. This was not the way to go about things. Granted, there's some things that I will never meet on the middle with anyone about. I will never, for the life of me, ever meet on the middle with some people about. But I'm not going to kill them at the same time. It's going to be interesting to see where we're at in 2026. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Hell, even with things like tariffs and what's going on with that. What? Being an ethnic Jew or practicing Judaism is not the same as an Israeli Zionist. Yeah, at that point, you're just generalizing anyone who happens to come from a certain land. Like, Israel's very much what? Middle East, right? Are we just going to blame anyone who's Middle Eastern? That ideologies both sides. Brother, let's slap box. Let's nut box. Slap with nuts. You have Fortnite? I played it a few times. I'll respond to a few more chilled out, at least a few chilled out messages. I think that's fine. Some more lighthearted ones like that. Now decide you're on the wrong side. That's so extremist and ignorant. Either you're on this side. What you're actually saying is, if you're not on my side, then you're on the other side. That's not what it's about. Motherfuckers view this shit like sport teams. It's not about being sport teams. This shit's about the morals and principles of what matters in terms of what you're voting for. That's why I vote. A lot of motherfuckers out there aren't about that, regardless of what side they're on. I vote because it's about what's right. What I feel is right for my country. This whole Kamala or Trump shit, it's like, let's keep it a buck about this too. For a lot of dudes, the idea of Kamala being in charge is because they would prefer an old white man in charge. And it makes them mad. The white man not being on top. That's what it's about. And on top of that, furthermore, it's also the fact that there's a lot of young men in particular that look at Trump as a daddy because they never had one. And so they want to feel tough by having a big, strong man be the one running shit in office. Which, look, if you got to feel vindicated in terms of feeling like a man for once in your life because of another man in office, you got a lot of insecurity to work on. I'm just saying. You got a lot of emotional insecurity. You desperately need therapy. As a man who's comfortable in my skin and doesn't need the comfort of another man running, and doesn't care if it's a man or a woman, y'all need to fucking speak to someone. Please. I'm not going to generalize every individual person who voted for Trump as that, okay? I know people personally who do, who I still wouldn't classify as a total piece of shit. I'm just saying. Kamala's the worst candidate the left could have pushed. I agree in that context purely because the biggest issue with the left here, I say this as someone who voted left last year. The biggest issue with Kamala is the fact that Kamala was just another, well, let me put it this way. A lot of people say, what was the issue with Kamala? She was just another politician. And that's what the issue is. She was another politician. Trump is not another politician. He's someone who creates his own attention based off his own eccentricism. He's so fucking insane. He's so crazy and energetic. And he's built up such a strong following through his own charm and wit, whatever the fuck you want to call it, over the past 10 years. As someone who started out prior to this, who was a celebrity, it's not, because that's what it's about in America. It's about celebrities being the ones people care about and have cult statuses towards. We in the US over the last 100 years especially, we have culminated this idea of celebrities being who we bow down to and worship. Oh, shit! The fan fell and the table fell. No, it didn't fall. Things fell off the table. But, yeah, that happens. Hold on. Hold on. I swear that wasn't intentional. I swear! Hold on. Hold on. Why am I still getting a call? It's fucking... Now the chat's not showing. Are you fucking kidding me? There. Jesus. That was fucking dumb. I'm out of loop here. I'll just read off my PC since the chat isn't showing here. Oh my god. Constantly calling me is not going to fucking change anything until I get back to you. Oh my god, stop fucking calling. Holy shit. Jesus fucking Christ. Holy shit. Okay. Let me get back to what I was saying now. So, give an alarm. Hello, Twippy. Fuck, what was I saying? I lost count now. I lost track of what I was saying. Thank you, filthy snob. Crashing out. Well, prior to crashing out, what the fuck was I talking about? Say you love Kamal? No, I didn't. You call it that because I didn't vote for your side. Your daddy. You knocked over your fan like a dumbass? That's true. Stalin fascist Kamala vote. How the fuck do you even... Oh, now I remember. Now I remember. The issue with Kamala is that she was too normal. Trump is someone who's built up his base for over a decade at this point. And is someone that the right can always rely on, no matter what the case is. The left, the best thing they had going for them was Bernie Sanders, and they fucked that over. They fucked him over. They screwed it all over completely, and since then, it's just been nothing but constant damage control. And that's the unfortunate truth here. Though it seems the left is slowly figuring it out with potential candidates, and it seems that the right could be losing the midterms. But we'll see how that all plays out. But yeah, that's just what it comes down to. The liberals, the left, they need someone to stand out and has that proper type of entertaining personality that Trump has. They need someone who knows how to captivate an audience. Now I remember more so what I'm talking about. It was the fact that we've cultivated a culture, especially over the last 100 years, where it's all about worshiping the celebrity. Celebrities are the ones who define everything. They're the ones that everyone should aspire to, look up to, whether it's beauty products, whether it's this or that, whatever the case may be. It's all about them. It's all about how they're the person you should strive to be. But it's reached a point where that's become so integrated into politics that now more than ever, the left, the only thing they can do, since we are going off of extremes here, unfortunately, regardless of the point that I'm trying to make, the only way they're going to overcome the right is by having someone who can actually be interesting. And honestly, someone who displays some level of human empathy, but at the same time is stern and has assertiveness to them, has a backbone, has something to say, regardless of what it is. Something that people can feel attached to. It's just what it is. Most people don't. Okay. Like him? I don't know what I'm supposed to like about him at this point. I don't know what I'm supposed to like. My hog for president? Agreed. Honestly, used, your hog would be a better president. It would be a better president. Do you love? Oh yeah, of course I love my country. That's why I'm as passionate as I am with what I'm saying. I'm a passionate person in general, so yeah. Especially as I've gotten older, I've cared more about the politics and paying attention and voting and doing what I can. And yeah, I'm saying what I'm saying purely because I love politics. If you think that what I'm saying is wrong because you disagree with me, you're just outing yourself as someone who can't handle the fact that I don't believe in the same thing as you, and that makes you mad that I'm not blindly following what it is your opinion is. I don't care to blindly follow your opinion, and I'm never going to. I spent my whole life with people trying to tell me what I should or shouldn't believe in. More than ever, that's just not the case. I'm talking about people I've known personally. The farther I've gotten to my 20s, the more and more. It's just what it is. Scott, no one is telling you to believe in something, but people are telling you to try to understand why they think what they do. What am I supposed to understand? About what? What am I supposed to understand? Good luck with the angry chat. I mean, hey, engagement's engagement. The channel's growing, so. Trump's a pedo? Yes. This guy is under 30 and thinks he's got it sorted out. What a fuck it. What did I say? I got it completely sorted out. I'm still working towards things. I got a lot to do. I got a whole lot of shit to do. Oh, just like you in my 20s, you'll wake up someday. In regards to what? What do I need to wake up about? Can you explain to me what I need to wake up about, guys? I know I'm taking the bait here. I'm just curious to see what actual responses people can give, instead of just telling me things vaguely. Maybe be a little specific? That would probably do you some good if you're really that desperate to try to convert my opinion to yours. I mean, see, that's the funny thing. People say, you don't get this or that. You'll get this and that when you're older. But the older I get, the more and more I see a lot of things people tell me I don't get as just extremely fucking retarded and people trying really hard to overthink things. Like, more and more, I see people say, well, this and that. But as I get older, I look at people in their 40s and 50s, 30s, whatever the age may be. And a lot of them are just really big fucking kids that are fucked up, full of issues that they never deal with, not having a clue of what to do in life. I know more people who are more broken, who are much older than me, as opposed to people around my age that aren't, and have it more together. I'm just simply learning from the generations before me. That's literally what it is, if we're going to go off that. The older you get, the dumber you get. I mean, in some ways, I feel like that's true for people because a lot of people lack nuance and are very black and white in their perspective and just become more of an extremist as they get older. I purposely do my best to avoid that and try to get more open-minded of things as I get older. And in that open-mindedness, I also come to realize that there's some things I just will never be open about, especially in politics. And that's never going to change. You don't have to be open-minded about every little thing. And that's the beauty of realizing what it means to truly be open-minded. The fact that you don't have to be open-minded with some things, and you shouldn't, in terms of morals. You definitely have it together. I'm trying to get it together. I work every day. If you run for a second term, you mean third term. What do you mean second term? This is a second term. Wait, what does perpetually unhappy mean? I mean, of course I'm not happy when talking about politics. Am I supposed to sound positive here? Oh, a political pundit just got assassinated on stage. Oh, What a joyous day. Like, am I supposed to be celebrating this? All I'm thinking about is how this is going to negatively affect things. Am I supposed to feel positive about the state of the U.S. in 2025? I'm an American who loves my country, but unless I'm blindly following your side, I'm wrong or I'm not happy. Should I think of you as being happy if you have to blindly follow someone to find purpose in life? I'm just speaking generally here. I'm someone who works for my own purpose in life. I have my own purpose. What purpose do you have aside from feeling like you finally had a daddy you never grew up with? I mean, let's keep it a fucking buck here. You call it me insulting. I just call it keeping it a buck. If it's an insult, well, you're the one who felt the need to be insulted. If it don't fly, let it fly. Why are you insulted if I'm speaking generally? Why are you insulted if I'm not talking about you specifically? Why do you feel personally threatened? No one's insulted? Well, somebody says I'm insulting, so what do you mean? Damn, how dare you be mad about the terrible state of politics in 2025? How dare you be angry? Just be happy. Yeah, live in blind ignorance. That's what solves issues in life. Just don't talk about it. Look, guys, the tariffs are affecting game console prices. Stop crying. Just play Mario Kart World at $80. What are you whining about? Holy fuck, to be that delusional is insane. The projection is insane. Go off? Absolutely. It's your fault for feeling insulted even though you're trying to insult someone? Who says I'm trying to insult anyone? I'm just speaking my honest thoughts. If you feel insulted, that's on you. The 90s and 2000s eras of politics? Why? From what I know, those eras were also ass. No matter the era. Apathy from the 80s, 90s is what got us here. Over time, apathy has very much built up. A lot of that started with Reagan. A lot of it did. Get back on Helldivers? I never even played it. Sides, so I understand. Okay, so it's about sides for you, unless you're being sarcastic. Okay. Fox News is my Bible. for old white people in their 60s, absolutely. What are you talking about, Jake? You did. You said it, and then said, oh, if it doesn't apply to you, then it doesn't matter. I never said that. I just said if it doesn't apply to you, then why are you insulted? Don't put fucking words in my mouth. Learn to listen if you're going to try to talk, homeboy. Wow, you care about your video game prices versus getting good respect deals for your country? Good respect deals? What respect is the U.S. getting? And secondly, who said I was comparing them? It was an example. Why are you being so purposely obtuse? Like, holy shit, is it really that hard to think with nuance? I mean, I'm talking to people who in this chat mainly consist of extremists that have zero brain capacity aside from maybe a single brain cell. That is a fusion of all these people in chat at the same time. God, you know, I've missed having a toxic stream like this. This is great. It really goes to show how offended people are. I'm the one who's being told I'm angry, but all I'm seeing is constant salt from the chat simply because I'm speaking generally. Look, just because Trump is some of y'all's daddies doesn't mean that you need to feel so hurt about it. If it don't apply, let it fly. You know what an extremist is? Yeah, January 6th showed me all about that. It showed me all about that. An IQ test? Is that supposed to mean something? Should I go for something Chat GPT could generate for me? Would that constitute something? I mean, in 2025, Chat GPT is very important, so, you know. What's good? I don't know, yo. Who they murdered? Huh? Who died in January 6th? Who's talking about who died? We're talking about extremism here. Keep up. Democratic plant set up? How? What Democrats set it up? Those were Trump supporters. Jump fire here? Oh, absolutely. On live? Why would it matter if it's live or not? Why the fuck does it matter? What sort of dumb shit is that? You don't matter? I mean, if you don't think I matter, that's fine. I don't know you. You scared of something? I'm surprised you didn't ban me. I mean, if I was scared, wouldn't I have banned you then? If I was bothered, wouldn't I have banned you? What, have you been banned for being a goofy in the past in other streams? I mean... Hours do you play RuneScape? I never played it, actually. We go out right now, you share the Netflix password too. Wait, why would it be a bad thing to share a Netflix password with someone? Netflix doesn't even allow that at this point, but what is that a point about being broke and needing to rely on someone's Netflix? I don't know. What are these comments tonight? A lot of really triggered people. Triggered about what? Come on, don't play dumb. You know what people here are mad about. Come on. What's up, Natalia? What do you do here? Well, in this stream currently, I'm pissing off people because I'm not blindly agreeing with their takes, and it makes them mad. You seem very unstable. Really? I'm pretty chilled out. I'd be more... People can kill the guy that wanted to debate. People that can do it to anyone. Yeah, I know. And I'm not going to live in fear at the possibility of it happening if it could happen at any point. Why would it matter then? Sorry, I don't care to live in paranoia. That's for sure, they're very vocal. Catch your bet. Okay. You believe, sir? Well, yes, they are. Yes, they are. Insulting large section of population. Who am I insulting exactly? Can you tell me who I'm insulting? Could you specify that? See, guys, we're pointing out vague points, but not giving any specific details. Can we please give me actual examples? Can we please give me actual examples? I need actual examples of what you're saying. I'm just going off of what's actual facts here. I'm going off the facts. What's it Ben Shapiro says? Facts don't care about your feelings. Why are your feelings so hurt over facts? I don't care for Ben Shapiro, but in this instance, it's true. Come on. Respond, you know exactly what. Okay, I am responding. I'm responding by asking you, what points are we talking about here? You know, you're pretty insulting. You know, you're insulting pretty much any Trump supporter at all. I already said I don't think everyone who supports Trump is a piece of shit. So how is it any Trump supporter? You're just showing that you're a Trump supporter who's offended over the fact that I criticized your daddy. I mean, what else am I supposed to say here? Most of chat extreme. Yeah, because there is a lot of extremists here. Why wouldn't I call what it is? Who didn't give aid to people my I don't want to vote for men. Son did drugs, as opposed to everything Trump's done. Not to say that there's any excuse with Biden, but let's call a spade here. Is their daddy because they like him? Yeah, because that's the case. A lot of them do consider him daddy. A lot of them do consider him to be their daddy cult leader. What about it? I mean, what information am I supposed to ask for here? That's literally, what I just said is literally what it is. I'm just looking at more comments here. At this point, I'm just having fun. I appreciate all the support on tonight's stream, guys. Thank you. I'm happy to know I got so many people emotional. Party wasn't racism. I mean, there definitely are a lot of racist people in the Democratic Party, but are we going to really act like they're the most racist between both sides? Moments away from crashing out when I accidentally knocked over the fan without realizing it. Is that it? It doesn't make it less racist. Okay, we're not talking about a different type of racism. Racism is racism. The fuck? What? What? See, only this type of racism applies. Like, motherfucker, racism is racism. Especially the extreme left. Oh yeah, there's a lot of Dems on the left that are very much about tokenism. Because look, see, I got friends of all different ethnicities. Just say you're racist. Why do you got to think about their ethnicities? And there's where you feel anybody isn't your needs help. Okay, that's really retarded. Racism is racism. I don't care how it's done. It's racism. It's racism regardless. Oh, this is some goofy shit. What sort of tactic? What sort of semantics are we trying here tonight? Dems are not the left. What are they? The center? Deserves a double dislike. Oh, please do. Give it more engagement. But anti-white, sometimes anti-Asian, anti-Jew. Yeah, so just racism. Is this guy sad Charlie died or happy? Neither. I just view it from the lens of how this is going to affect the country now going forward. Subset of racism. Understand? No, I understand it. It's just a really retarded semantic argument that doesn't matter because racism is racism. I understand it. It's just really fucking stupid. I don't care about the subsets. Hating anyone for being a different race, it doesn't make a difference of how it's done. If it's the same conclusion of bigotry regardless. Oh my God, can we please stop? Guys, please, for the love of God, can we please just please. Sent makeup brush for 6 jewels. Thank you. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you. I don't know you. Thank you for more. It's appreciated. I'm racist. I just don't like my own Well, okay. Look, now see, that's a different subset of racism. I can understand. Not like, okay, well, I guess it depends. Loves his makeup brushes. Hell yeah. That makes you agree with them? How am I agreeing with them? I understand what they're saying. It's fucking stupid. I'm saying it's fucking stupid. I understand what they're saying. But stupid is stupid. See, you just don't understand this argument being made about this subset of racism compared to this one. The fact that it's all racism? God, it's like talking to a brick fucking wall. If there's a civil war, this guy would hide in the basement. Are you saying you want a civil war so you can go out and fight on the front lines? Do you aspire for a civil war to actually happen? What? I don't want civil war, period. Why would I? Like, let's keep it a buck. You ain't going anywhere if there's a civil war. That means total martial law and just hitting the fan completely. What the fuck would I want to fight at the front lines for? I don't want a war, period. Did you know racism? Did you guys know racism sounds eerily similar to the word raisin? Did you know that? Facts are racism. You don't know that. Well, if it's only been once, then I would prefer it to just stay once. Is it already? Oh, it's already 12. It's already been an hour. Holy shit! Dude, you're literally crashing out. No, I'm pretty okay. I'm having a good time here. For your own mental health benefit. Who the fuck are you to tell me about my mental health? My own mental... Dude, bro, if I'm at a point in life where a toxic stream about politics is the thing to fuck with my mental health, I've lived a pretty good and happy life. No, I have actual issues in life going on. Thank you very much. Bro... That goes to show me this is why most people shouldn't be YouTubers. Because if this is how you feel when it comes to negative comments on the internet, you can't handle anything. I've been around negative people trying to shit on me my whole life outside the internet. Why would I care about random strangers? I'm just having a good time here. Oh my God. What point am I missing? Can you tell me what point I'm missing? What is it? A point about racism being different from racism? What point am I supposed to be getting here? Please just explain it to me. I'm begging you. Please just give me an answer. It's not hard. Oh my God. Please just give me a fucking answer. You know what I need to do? Moonwolfie. Send happy poop for 10 joules. Thank you. You know what I need to do? Sorry, Rose, but I'm doing drugs. I'm sorry, Rose. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, babe. Thank you. I don't know you. Thank you guys for the support so far tonight. It's highly appreciated. I have no choice. I've got indulged in the devil's cabbage now. I'm wearing green as well. How fitting. Is some sort of profound statement. I'm not calling it profound. I'm just simply stating the obvious here. Y'all are the ones trying to act like it's supposed to be specified. That's how segregation exists. And I know it's bait, a lot of the comments I'm reading. I know, it's been a while since I've really had fun with a comment section like this. And the way I see it, a lot of the people who say I'm just being too energetic or whatever the fuck in the comments right now are just intimidated that someone has the confidence to have an actual personality on camera. I have an actual personality. That's why people are watching me right now. I know how to be interesting. I'm sure people say, no, you're not. Stop lying, bro. Talk to a therapist. Well, next time I talk to my therapist, I'll let him know about the stream. I'll have a whole session dedicated. You're so unique. I take that as a compliment because I agree. I embrace what makes me unique. Why shouldn't I? So I can be the same as a bunch of fucking Neanderthals that live off extremes in life? Nah, I'm good, Chief. When I was still there. Oh, see, it's true, John. It's true. It's true. But children are going to react in a way that they only know how to, and that's by laughing at something who just, you know, the guy they wish they could be. I'd call this people flipping through lives and seeing some guy crashing out. So personality. And how am I crashing out? I'm just, bro, I'm just asking questions here. Can I not just get answers to these questions? People keep telling me things, but it's just like, what? Hello? Do the walls speak? Walls, ceiling. Is racism racism? You don't have the answer, Sway. you don't have the answer, Sway. That's a legendary clip. A topic, for God's sake? Why? Y'all are giving me all the ammunition I need right now. What topic would you like me to bring up? Let's talk about it. Wow, debates were funny as fuck. Oh shit, you were actually seeing him in person? People in therapy shouldn't stream. That's probably a lot of people in life then. That's probably at least half of the YouTubers in life, which I mean, at that point, I probably would agree then. Maybe I should be one of those YouTubers. Your mom? Oh, I'm devastated. Damn. 2010 era insult going hard. How do you feel about what happened to Charlie? Oh, you're asking someone else. I mean, regardless of what George Floyd's history was, doesn't make what happened okay. I mean, if we're going to talk about tragic events, in the case of someone like Charlie Kirk or George Floyd, I'm not gonna condone what happened to either one, regardless of the fault of either person. But in the case of someone being violently murdered, I just look at situations like this, and some would call it psychotic. I just look at this, unfortunately, as what is probably going to end up being a necessary evil. Aliens are real? I agree with that. Concert in October, I need a... When's the next chat in Discord? I don't know yet. I'll say when it happens. Should do. After yesterday, I think we need to course correct from polarization. Just I don't know how. What we need to do is just... I think it's a matter of just discussing shit. And understanding some things just have to be condemned. But different what happened. He wasn't resisting. And even then, the amount of force on his neck was not necessary. Derek Chavez, whatever the fuck his name is, the dude was a piece of shit for that. Necessary evil to kill someone? Not to say it's a necessary evil, just in terms of the consequences. The consequences that follow. Let me specify that again. I'm referring to the consequences of the actions made here. Not the event itself. Just that this whole situation is most likely going to end up being a necessary evil, like many things in life. Just because something shouldn't happen, and I don't believe it's right, doesn't mean at the same time I don't acknowledge this didn't happen for no reason. This clearly happened for a reason, regardless of what the reason may be. And for that reason, it's going to be something that ends up being a necessary evil for what will hopefully be, in the long term, a more positive future of things like this happening lesser. But you already know that things like this are always going to happen regardless. So at that point, is it truly a necessary evil, I have to ask myself? Or is it just a repeating cycle that will never end? Or is it true to some extent with both arguments? Are both arguments there true to some extent? It's all about perspective like anything in life. I guess that's just how it goes. Because someone was sick? You really think someone was sick? You really think someone sick was that calculated with that shot? I can only imagine what sickness or illness they got then. Could you... I mean, if we're going to go off somebody potentially being sick, can we please specify and assume what their diagnosis is? Were they depressed? Was this potential shooter so depressed they just happened to be depressed enough to accurately shoot someone's vital fucking organ? I mean, regardless of the reason for why he got killed, it doesn't... In this instance, the ends do not justify the means. That's like suicidal, but with other people, dude? Okay, we're not talking about other people here. Stay on fucking topic. 1,000 yards, 200 with a bull act. The reason doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it was done. The fact that it was done is the point here. Granted, we'll find out more in time, I'm sure, to some extent, of how this all came together, how it was orchestrated. But that's ultimately not the point being made here, and it shouldn't be the point we fixate on. If you're focusing on that point, I believe you're focusing on the wrong point entirely. That's not what matters. As he was sick, or for better, I guess disgusting for the kill. No, that's not what he meant. Come on. Not in the sense of so sick he's disgusting. Sick in the sense of it was mental illness. Let's not blame the guns because it's not guns who kill people. And that's true. It's people who kill people. But it doesn't change the fact that it was someone who used the gun to assassinate a political fucking pundit. That's the point to be made. Someone died as a result of someone's calculated moves here, regardless of how it was done. It's something that does not justify a thing, because all this does is going to lead to more civil outcry in the long term to some extent. At the end of the day, good and evil are always going to balance. There's always going to be good and evil. There's always going to be nuance. Nothing is truly black and white. There's always some level of gray there with everything. That's my perspective on life. And this is just another era we're living in where this is just another unfortunate, shitty time, and that applies to the 2020s as a whole. Yes, every decade has its issues. The 2000s, for example, there was 9/11. There was the 08 recession. There was SARS. There was Hurricane Katrina in 2005. There was so many different fucking tragedies that happened. Same with the 90s. Same with the 2010s. Even if we weren't directly affected by it, obviously, which, not to say it's exactly the same, but now we have a better idea of what it's like to be affected by something like this. Ebola in 2014, when that was really big news. There's so many things that have happened, and on top of social media, how big it is and how integrated it is. And more than ever, we're just seeing the world for what it is. And a lot of this is just worsened by just how public everything is. It all just factors in and just combines together. But it doesn't change the fact that this decade in particular does feel different in a sense. In the sense of just how much of a peak we're at when it comes to terrible shit going on. In the case of after COVID, there's a reason why there was an uptick in shootings. Not just school shootings, all sorts of shootings. So many people were just stuck at home, nothing to do. It just led to people who are just fucked up and unstable. Once they finally were able to do things, and, as in other people being around, they just went from one extreme of doing nothing, no damage, to then just the other extreme. No more coffee. I never drink coffee. Guns in general, that there should be rights. I believe in the Second Amendment. I will always believe in the Second Amendment. I will never believe in banning weapons out entirely, especially with how integrated it is into U.S. culture, because it is very much a part of the culture here. And I mean, what's going to happen if we ban guns? We're going to become the UK, and everyone's going to be stabbing each other. Motherfuckers are going to get got. They're going to get gutted. Tweaking? No, I just have an actual passion for what I'm talking about. Sorry that you're intimidated by someone having some actual energy. That I'm not a fucking boring-ass monotone YouTuber who just speaks like this. Say, guys, let's talk a little bit about why exactly this Charlie Kirk situation is a real problem and what this means for the political ramifications on the U.S. as a whole. Am I supposed to be fucking boring? No. I'm gonna be as eccentric as I want to be. Watch. What, is that too much for you? Boo-hoo. Scare him in the hose. Adderall? No, it's called PTSD fueled ADHD. How do you talk to people who don't believe in civil discourse? You don't. Or maybe you try to over time. You slowly try to communicate in a way that just shows empathy. Empathy is something we need. There's a reason why I think Superman is such an important film, the new one that came out, because it's all about the importance of empathy from one person to another. And that's just a lesson we really need to take in stride here. Jake, peace and love. None of these seem like an answer to me. Sometimes, in some situations, the best answer is no answer. There's nothing you can do for some people. People who can't be talked to have always existed. It's just more than ever, they have the ability to have an echo chamber where they can be heard, but at the same time, even if you don't want to hear them, they still have the ability to be heard. And people who agree with them are going to come together with them, hence that echo chamber. And that in itself very much does it snowballs. It snowballs. There's a whole snowball effect when it comes to it. Permit to carry. It's only for concealed carry. Seeing people are checking out the other videos, which is always cool. Anytime you post something big enough, people are going to inevitably go check out other things you made. But still, it's always cool to see nonetheless. So thank you guys for checking out other content. New Vegas Enjoyer, already goated. Thank you. Yes, I love New Vegas. Favorite Fallout game, one of my favorite games ever. And I'll still find a way to keep that in the background when I move. That he doesn't have work in the morning. Yeah, because I can choose to work later if I want to. I have concealed carry to protect my family. If it's something that works for the benefit of that, more power to you. You know, as long as you're stable enough to, I'm going to assume here that you're stable enough to utilize weapons, I see no issue. Post-COVID is just peak. Postmodernism and societal fracturing due to our lack of meaning-making. Seems like most of it just nihilicism and fundamentalist Christianity. There's very much a lot of extremism when it comes to that. We're very much in a time where that's very much something. I will not disagree with you. As a woman, I'm very grateful for the ability to conceal carry. Yeah, women should have just as much of a right to conceal a weapon if need be for the sake of protection, just like men do. And I'm not going to try to make a comparison out of genders here, but in the case of women especially, I can understand the need for protection. You know, I'm not saying there's a double standard with that. Everyone should feel safe regardless of who they are, but there is things to be said about that. Faith over fear. Yeah, you can't let fear control you. That's something that's, especially with how much propaganda and shit is just flying around. It's just, we live in an era where there is very much a lot of fear mongering, a lot of people controlled by fear, but you can't let fear control you. You gotta, I think above all else, what's most important is learning and understanding to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in yourself, especially when others don't. If there's something you truly do believe in, that you truly have a great feeling about, even if no one else agrees, even if not a single other person agrees, if you know deep down in your heart of hearts, if you know, then you know. And I'm not even talking about politics no more with that. I'm just talking about this applies as a whole. The woman that was murdered on the train in Chicago, how do you feel about that? I feel like I've heard of that, but I haven't seen anything about that. Shit in a can, anyone interested? On the train? I feel like I have, but dude, there's so much news going on. Can you really blame me if I don't hear about it? You know, as much as I want to say most people are aware of what's happened to Charlie Kirk, I'm sure there's still a few people out there that this is just flown under the radar for. Character in the Fallout universe. He's a target, there's a difference. Yeah, there is nuance there. The train is pretty major. I'm not saying it's not major, it's just there's so much news going on. I'm not going to hear about every little thing. It's not possible, especially in today's day and age, with how news goes by, with how fast it flies by, that you're going to hear about every little thing. I don't feel like looking it up. And not because I'm grossed out by gore or anything. I don't feel like looking it up right now. Stabbed for being white. Yeah, racism applies no matter what.
pro-trans agenda. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be here for. Here for about an hour and a half. It's a big thing. I'm aware of how big of a thing it is. My point is that there's just so many things that it's just a microcosm in the grand scheme of things of everything going on. I'm not disregarding how big or important something is. It's just we're at a point where there's so many things going on and reported. This can apply to anything. Was a bit. I'm not denying it was a big thing. There's so many things going on. It's not possible to keep up with or hear about every little thing. Guys, pay attention to my wording here. I'm not saying it's a small thing. Just in the grand scheme of things, it's sadly another situation. It's another Tuesday, unfortunately. There's literally nothing else to be said about that. God, I understand what Tyler the Creator means about nuance, man. Nobody gets my nuance. Defending my right to guns? That is pretty crazy, Esper. How do you think we'll look back on this in the future? I think we're going to look at this as yet another casualty of political tension. I think that's going to be the thing people take for most. As for lessons to be made, well, it just goes back to what I'm saying. It all goes back to the same source of what's going on. Yeah, I agree with you. Everything is a microcosm of what's happening at this point. There's so many big things going on. At what point can you still call these big events a big thing? Someone getting killed on a train, that sucks. But am I supposed to act like that's unique at this point, especially if it's based on race? If it's based on a hate crime like this? Am I supposed to act like it's anything different from any other thing I've heard about over the last 2 years alone? Especially in the case of things going on with Ukraine as is, am I supposed to act like this is something I should be shocked about? I'm not saying that it's something that we should be desensitized by, but you reach a point where you see so much violence such as this occurring. At what point can you really act shocked and say, this is a truly big event that I should view as anything more than more senseless violence? Regardless of how violent it was, regardless of the reasons or ramifications, it's simply, sadly, another situation as a byproduct of the conflicts of humans. Am I supposed to say it as any other way? Motherfucker, I'm saying it for what it is. I have a question that's off topic. What's your question? Murder isn't wrong or right? I mean, depending on the reasoning, I can't really call it a good thing in many cases. If it's someone who's a genocidal piece of shit like Stalin, yeah, that's a good thing, I would argue. There are a few people that should be dead. Not all, but there are some who are just that evil and irredeemable. Anyone who's a pedophile, for example, I'm not going to consider them someone who I'm going to feel sad over if they were to be given the death penalty. Because they'll get the death, even if they weren't assigned that, they're still going to get the death penalty in prison regardless. Because that is a death sentence going to prison if you're a pedo. Especially if you're down under, on the lower levels. Where a lot of them do go, most likely. I don't know the statistics here, but come on. Correlates directly to Charlie Kirk. Yeah, there's plenty to be said. That could be applied to any other situation you have or haven't heard about politically. It doesn't make a damn difference. It's all bad. Conflict like this is bad regardless of the many factors that lead to it. Nothing will ever change that. I'm not going to disagree about things that lead to this. I'm simply stating that these are things that are just business as usual, and we're just seeing it more and more for what the fuck it is. And that's terrible fucking atrocities. Fit over the meta crisis? I mean, I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying about that, Gaia.
It's just he's such a big figure that, of course, so many people are going to talk about it. But this alone isn't going to say destroy the country as we know it. Because say that Trump had died from that assassination attempt, unless it was staged. Say that he had died. That would have had far more significant of ramifications. Because you're comparing, at that point, that's the president. Someone coming back to be the president compared to someone who is another figure within politics. Not to say that not to say that I'm out here gunning for anyone like that. I'm just saying what it is. Levels, pun intended. Feel about middle high school all across outright banning student cell phones. I've seen something about that. And when it comes to schools banning cell phones, I'm not going to sit here and say it's 100% good or bad. Is it good that this will force kids to listen more? Sure. But it also comes down to how the school themselves presents the information that kids are supposed to care about. Because the American education system especially, I imagine, it's still very broken. It was very much broken growing up when I was in school, hence why I don't remember really anything from high school. Much of what I remember is based off my own life experiences I've been through outside of school. And maybe some things from school here and there. English in high school, for example, was my strongest subject, my strongest class. But at the same time, can there be importance with phones? I guess, I suppose so. In the case of, at the very least, having limitations. But if kids feel this need to look at the phones as opposed to paying attention, here's what, actually, I'll put it this way. If kids feel this need to look more so at their phones than what they're learning, can we really blame the phones then? Because just because you get rid of the phones, how is that going to change kids for not paying attention? As someone who was ADHD as fuck growing up in school and grew up in a time where ADHD was far more taboo 20 years ago compared to now, I'll tell you for a fact, especially with how many kids nowadays are ADHD, I'll tell you for a fact, are you really going to expect them to pay proper attention to what they're learning? Because at that point, what else do you do? Ultimately, it should be on the parents to decide what happens with the cell phones, I feel. Because I do feel a certain way about schools being the one to enforce this, even if it is where kids go to learn. But if they're not going to retain this knowledge years after the fact, why would it matter then? You're essentially having kids go to a place for 6, 7, 8 hours, having their brains get numb from the information from all these different things they're learning, all these different math equations that they're not going to use for shit in 5 years after graduating. Getting rid of the phones is supposed to solve that? That's just putting a Band-Aid on a blistering wound. This will solve nothing. I think that's the best way I can put it. Is an excuse? I mean, I wouldn't call it an excuse necessarily because that's literally just how things are. People are just desensitized because you see something happen so much. How are you supposed to keep reacting to it? Yeah, you see someone get shot over and over and over again. Let's say you line up 100 people. You shoot one after the other. Point blank range. They're all shot dead. Am I supposed to keep reacting horrified after seeing them all gone? I'm not saying I'm there celebrating it. But it reaches a point where I got to think to myself, yeah, this is fucked up and terrifying. This is awful to see. But am I supposed to keep reacting totally shocked in the same way after the first one when we're at murder number 50? I've seen this 50 fucking times in a row now. Am I supposed to still freak out? I'm looking at it for what it is. An issue that needs to be dealt with, but because of a multitude of factors and because of what the U.S. is built on in its fucking soil, this is going to keep happening. Columbine opened up Pandora's box. Granted, other tragedies happened then. There very much was a bombing with the World Trade Center in, 1992? It's just that somebody finally did the job fully in 2001. Kid cutting. Your attention span, of course. I mean, if it's not a cell phone, it's something else that's going to fuck with kids' attention spans. Do phones factor into that? Sure. But everywhere you go, everything is factoring into that now. There's so much stimulation going on. It's like, of course that's going to be the case, but that's not the kid's fault. I know it's more nuanced than that. It is. Communicate. Most Americans don't even know how to practice active learning or listening. It's all in what way? How am I saying it's all relative? I agree with that. I have ADHD. Someone you care about? In regards to what? I'm a little lost. There's so many comments here. Had a Game Boy, 90s baby. Same. World with this problem? Well, yeah, gun culture is very much integrated into America. So it's of course we're going to be the only country with the problem. None of these other countries have their roots soiled in that. We're very much a unique country, for better or for worse, in more ways than one. Do you think, now my next question, do you think it'd be a problem if kids aren't allowed to notify their parents due to the ban? Teach things like trades? Oh yeah, schools should teach things like trades. That should very much be an essential. But that's another thing. It's about the parents. Like, we're supposed to just go back to parents having no contact with their kids, period? I mean, it's possible, but I really don't think this is going to go as well as we're thinking. I really don't think. Now, the Pentagon the day before he could pay them? God's gift to the children, protect them from morons. Well, I mean, if people are assuming punishing kids should be the incentive, then that in itself shows a much deeper problem. Because yes, kids should be punished if they're doing things wrong. Kids are supposed to be disciplined. Parents especially should be doing that job. That is the point of parenting, to raise your child, to discipline them. But ultimately, above else, also have empathy and compassion to hear them out and to understand their problems, instead of disregarding them as, get over it, stop crying. That's toxic. That's abusive, and all it does is hurt the child. A lot of people say, well, I turned out fine and I was talked to that way. If all you have to say is you turned out fine, you're not fine. I know what it's like to be there with just being fine. No. SSRI and TV. Dude, you seriously need to calm down. About what? What do I need to calm down about? I'm sorry for being honest. Of families, Charlie was right about that. I mean, I will agree with that, but from what I know, from how he put it, that's an issue. Because did he not talk about how empathy shouldn't exist or doesn't? You actually watch his videos? From what I've seen, it's a lot of the typical pungnut shit I don't care for. Says South Park, take a rip and chill the fuck out. So the things that I talk about, they make fun of with points about anyways. Bro, I watch South Park anyways. What? His more biblical perspective. Okay. Ultimately, I'm talking about the Charlie thing because of just the implications it has when it comes to the effects on the country. That's what it comes down to. Be a chill show meta. What do you mean, too meta? If anything, life is more of a parody than South Park is now. So I don't know what you mean. Yes, implications. You're afraid the left are going to be under attack. What does that even mean, the left's going to be under attack? Well, I don't get that. Kid I wanted to get tested, parents didn't believe it was real.
Drop X out, went to uni after help, and graduated with a 3.9 GPA. Well, that's great. I'm happy that things turned out positive for you, and you did something. Every day, why care now?
See, some would say that you're being apathetic, but at what point are we supposed to not feel apathetic towards something that's just so commonplace now? Are people supposed to still be reacting? That's like playing the same movie 50 times in a row and expecting to be shocked by the same plot twist. I know the plot twist from every in and out now. Am I supposed to still act shocked when I see it? I know what it is. I've been there, done that. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
You have a good one, Joe. Thank you for coming through. I got a 3.9, but it ain't my GPA.
Hey, ladies. This is so imaginative. Hey, ladies. You know about GPAs? 3.9s? Well, I got a 3.9, but it certainly ain't a GPA. If you catch my drift.
Shit crazy nowadays?
I mean, shit's always been crazy. It's just we're seeing it more and more. It's more exposed, but we definitely do live in a far more... We very much do live in an era of turmoil. Just we're at a point where so much history is repeating itself and so extreme. It's just a matter of where things go and what's that going to mean. What that's going to mean, I should say, for the 2030s, because that's where we're headed. Obviously, Serge, you have won the internet. A rare, but he knew what he was doing, advocating. I mean, look, you throw stones at glass houses, that glass house is inevitably going to break with enough pressure.
So much media coverage overshadowing things like the Colorado school shooting.
See, that's the thing about Charlie Kirk's death, his assassination. A part of me can't help but wonder if there was intention behind that as a distraction, maybe. Some would say I'm being too conspiratorial with that, but I would beg to differ. I would. Do you consider the glass house was what Charlie has said about the Second Amendment? And I'm sure somebody's going to say, well, in regards to who he was talking about. Well, if you're going to spew terrible rhetoric, hateful rhetoric, it's going to come back around. I'm not saying I'm advocating, but it happened. The things he's talked about ended up happening to him. There's a lot of irony to this whole situation. It's very poetic, is how I put it.
They might ban guns, but they won't condemn murder. Why did he get killed then? Do you know the reason? What's the reason? What's up, Samuel? I don't need to say what his rhetorical is because you guys already know it's all out there. Why say what's out there? What point am I trying to make? That same sentiment being stated is what led to him being killed. What point are you trying to make? That is the point. Stop overthinking this shit. You're just watching? Well, welcome. I hope you're enjoying. Love, not hate. What love did he share? Are we talking about religion? Some of the most hateful shit you can spew? Not trying to get into a war about that, like I give a fuck if I do anyways. I'm just saying, a lot of hate stems from religion. But a lot of it's built on fear. No, it is built on fear. The organization parts especially to control people, and that fear turns into anger, and anger turns into hate. And guys like Charlie are very much ones to follow a lot of those religious guidelines. So what love are we talking about here? With or without religion? Sure, but religion very much factors into it. Hence the reason why so many people are brainwashed by religion, especially organized religion. You are the problem? Well, I don't associate with the left, so I don't know what hate we're talking about from the left. Whatever hate they're calling or causing, I'm not associating with that.
Who am I? What death am I praising? I never praised any death over freedom of speech. I keep saying I don't condone this. I condemn it. What the fuck are you talking about? Please stop thinking in extremities. Think with fucking nuance for once in your life. Not a religion, it's a connection with God. There is a religion with these people that involves their belief with God. Don't try to play semantics here. You only you? Okay, I'm responding to other comments, unless those are yours. I came here, you fucking said he brought... In terms of what he was advocating for, yes, he did in that case. I don't advocate for it. I'm saying what he advocates for is what ended up happening to him. He said the Second Amendment is important because sometimes gun violence is necessary. He literally said, he's saying the reasons as to why it happened to him. What the fuck is... Oh my God, please think here. I'm only stating things he himself believes. Don't shoot the messenger. The Second Amendment was made for the sake of freedom to bear arms. What about it? That doesn't mean that we should just be gunning down people. That's not the point. Who's trying to rationalize a thing? I know this shit is bait, man, but it's so fucking dumb. I'm not rationalizing anything. I keep saying my point is this is just going to lead to more civil outcry. I don't think this should have happened, period. But I'm saying there's reasons as to why it did. It's not just, well, people are just mean and rude and they're just going to kill you if they disagree. No, if you keep fucking worsening things, if you keep pushing things in a really negative and fucking hostile, violent manner, it's going to come back around to you. If you give people enough reason to genuinely fucking despise you like Charlie did from what I've seen, unfortunately, something like this was going to happen. I'm not saying it should have, but it did. To start a civil war. Again, that factors into what I'm saying. It's another fucking reason. I'm literally saying that. Who's victim blaming? Who am I victim blaming? Who am I blaming? What valid arguments, man? What valid arguments? The Israel that killed Charlie? We don't even... Why are you doing this to yourself? I know people are being dumb, but it's like, look, I might as well indulge since I'm here making this shit in the first place, right? Trust me, I'm aware of the baiting. I'm aware. But at the same time, I'm also thinking about my channel here and growing it, so I'm going to do that. Why not? Thanks, Luke. You got from a single stream? I would assume so. It's the most viewed and most controversial I've made, most likely. I mean, I've gotten political. You guys know I can be very I can very much be open and honest about my policies and politics. It's not the main focus of my channel, but I will be if I really feel this need or want to. A fucking grift in the deck. Now you're just making things out of nothing. What grift is there? Appreciate you subscribing. But yeah, am I actually truly mad over these comments? No. I'm just very much someone who gets into the mood of things, especially if I'm here to make content of some type, even if it's a fucking mobile stream like this. Yeah, in general, I'm just someone who's eccentric. I just have a lot of personality. That's just who I am. My PC needs to update again. Oh my fucking god, of course it does. Fucking Windows 10, man. What did I say 10 seconds ago? I didn't say nothing about grifting, the fuck? You can make money doing something while still talking about it. Do you not know how the news works? Is Fox News grifting when talking about Charlie Kirk? Time to upgrade to 11. Oh, I know. That's why I'm going to get another PC. Especially I'll have the room for it when I move here in less than a month. I'm just reading comments now. I'm going to be here a little bit longer. I'm going to go to 2 hours and that'll be it. So I'll be here another 7 minutes. Channel is usually about gaming, but there is variety there. The other ain't exactly neutral. I'm very much independent. I never said I was neutral. I'll agree many of my policies and beliefs are more progressive, more left than right, but I'm very much still an independent. Minding me to like, thank you. But yeah, this is now the biggest stream on the channel. I mean, given the contents, I'm not really shocked. But hey, you know, it's appreciated. Whether you've hated the stream or not, growth is growth. I just do my thing, regardless of how much people agree or not. That's just me. Friday as well, Michi brings in different audience. Yeah, it is. I try to mainly focus on gaming, but I still focus on other things. Like with some of the content I focus on in videos, with especially the parody videos I've done lately with Pirate Software and Mudahar. A political independent party? You talking about third party? Green Party, which barely does shit? You seem so chill and intelligent. How can you lean left? Well, according to this stream, I'm very emotional and crashing out every 5 seconds. Probably the weed helps. I don't know. I haven't watched that one. Not gonna lie, I've been leaning more towards your streams than video. I mean, that's fine. If you prefer the streams to watch that, if you're leaning more towards that lately, that's more than fine. Whatever you guys watch, I put up. I'm always down and appreciative of the support. I'm just thankful that people watch everything I do. And that's not me bragging. I look at the views, especially lately on videos, streams, and shorts, and they're all performing amazing. So I'm just happy people find me interesting enough. And I was big on the Halo and Bethesda game videos, though. Oh, you're talking about the No, what the fuck am I talking about? I was about to say Marathon. Are you just talking about general Halo and Bethesda? Have more game live streams? Again, I want to do that more, but it comes down to my limitations with my PC. That's why I'm upgrading. Or I'm going to upgrade, hopefully in the near future. So I can have a powerful enough PC to where I can run all the games I need to and want to again. I was still able to do that relatively well up until not even just last year, earlier this year, but now, especially in the second half of this year, that's changing. More and more games are requiring secure boot. More and more games are requiring Windows 11 exclusively, and are the best way to have good performance with games. And my PC doesn't have it in it to fully go to Windows 11. So yeah, I'm just going to use this as a secondary when I get one. There's lower spec options out there to what you're open to. Well, I can't go for lower specs. That's my point. I can't stream these games if they're lower specs. I used to lean left until I found my faith and fell off the political scale. Now Democrats say I'm MAGA, and conservatives say I am a libtard. Must be doing something right. That's funny. Console's best plug and play? Well, it just comes down to your tastes. Did you like the settlements in Fallout 4? I mean, they were fine, but I didn't really care much for them. Same with a lot of what Fallout 4 did. Fallout 4 as a Fallout game, I think, is pretty bad, actually. It's an okay shooter, but I think it's a pretty bad Fallout game. Truly all power to. I never said I was a liberal. I keep saying I'm not one. What are you doing to make a difference? I mean, at least I'm saying something in a stream, giving my honest thoughts. Can that be said about most people? Was a letdown. New Vegas best Fallout. Sometimes on COD mobile link up. Narco. I don't know who that is. COD Mobile. I haven't played that shit since 2020. I want to say 2019. I got bored of it pretty quick, actually. Well, I think unusual. I got yelled at for saying it. In the Boston area, so I play 4 when I get homesick, but I like New Vegas and 3 more. That's a fair point. From what I've seen, they did a really good job of replicating Boston. My political ideology. Some will say I'm being performative with this, but this is the honest truth. My political ideology is being a good person. That's the only way I can put it. Just doing what I feel is good. Believing in what I just find to be a good thing. Free speech. Equal rights for everyone. Violence not being the answer, especially in politics. I don't really know what else to say. For fuck's sake, healthcare. There shouldn't be a cost to just live. Because what you tell me when it comes to healthcare is essentially I need to pay to know I'm guaranteed to be alive. Why do we need to pay to guarantee we're going to have some level of health? Why do we need to pay for this? There should be no reason to pay just to be alive. I know some will say, well, you don't need to do that. Just be careful. That's not my point, dipshit. Left wing, no. I simply believe in people should be alive and have the right to be alive without paying for it. Regardless of what side you want to go with. I simply believe everyone should be allowed to just live. God fucking forbid. Capitalism comes at a cost? Yeah, it's built on bullshit. That's the cost. Capitalism is a fucking cancerous, fucked up, broken, corrupt system that needs a total reworking from start to finish. That's the fucking truth of capitalism, especially in the US. It's a broken system of this bullshit hustle of work harder. Like, keep working harder. Work yourself into the grave. And there's other countries that are far worse about that. Japan is an example of just how bad worker death rates are. But in the case of the US, just because one may be worse doesn't mean it's okay for another to still be shit. We should just be allowed to just be happy to be alive. People should just be happy to just be able to live life. But there's so many people that can't even do that. Of course I'm pro-USA. Of course. As an American who loves my country, of course I'm pro. I have a lot of criticisms. Hence the reason why I'm as honest as I can be as an American citizen. I simply do believe in being honest about my beliefs, and that's the reason why I love my country as much as I do. If I didn't, I would be lying about what I'm saying. Pro-choice, yes. Very much I am pro-choice. Always have, always will be. To be in the position you're in? Yeah, I appreciate my blessings. Whatever the case may be. You don't know my position, but I'm aware of my ups and downs and what life's been. I'm appreciative that I have a platform that people listen to. That in itself is a privilege. The fact that YouTube's at a point where it is a source of income that helps support me, I am considering that a privilege because it is one. Because that's not something most people can say, especially at a channel this size. I am grateful for that. Needs to occasionally get done. You have an obvious propensity for laziness. What? How so? Can you tell me how? Pro suck my balls. Thank you very much for the support. Thank you for the donation. I love you. Too many people can have their own businesses. People, if they utilize that. I mean, it's not easy, obviously, to do things you want to do. But yeah, in many ways, the U.S. still does have its independence with things. The fact that I can still wake up every day and produce content and work about things the way I do, the fact that I can go about my life the way I can and I have the freedom to, is something I will always appreciate. They don't have democracy. A lot of America, I would argue, is the opposite of democracy. What are we choosing here? The freedom. The freedom to have the choice of what you want to do. Women especially. They should have the freedom when it comes to pregnancy if we're talking about pro-life or pro-choice. Cigarette? Well, good thing it's weed then. They are never the most. Here's a tip, then a little something for the stream stress. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sev. I mean, if I'm a freak show, I'll be a freak show. If being honest and just being who I am makes me a freak show, then welcome to the fucking freak show. Do you lift? I do. How about the woman in the womb? Should they have any choice? What woman in the womb? Are there fully grown women being born in the womb? All right, Jennifer. As someone who is currently 18 years old in the womb, I give you the choice of what you want to be. What the fuck are you talking about? You're going to tell me that 16-year-old girls are women as well then? Are we going to go down that route? The baby girls in the womb, brother? Well, somebody called them women. I'm not calling them that. What do you mean? Why are you correcting me? I'm quoting someone else. I don't mean to sound like some woke asshole, but women have it hard, dude. Yeah, with some things, they very much do. There's plenty of things they do. One of those things that's been difficult has been the option of having pro-choice, which is something I fully support. Relevant in the general chat? What, in Discord? I'm reading what you put here. Interesting. Interesting. What's different times with the hardest for her? I mean, obviously, I don't know what it's like to be pregnant. I'm never going to know what it's like, but yeah, I'm sure it is difficult for women to be pregnant. It's not exactly a pleasurable experience pushing a child out of you. I'm undecided on life/choice. Oh, okay. You just buttered your balls, Mr. Blue? Butter my balls. Who's saying anything about being black and white? Y'all are arguing a point that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. The best economic system? I think aspects of multiple different systems. A mix of capitalism and communism. I think there should be a combination of both. Granted, that would take time to figure it out, but I do think there very much is a middle ground to be met when it comes to these different systems in place. Abortions, I wouldn't be alive today, so we hate abortions. Definitely, yeah. If you're not in a position to take care of a child, say a woman was raped and she is now pregnant with a rapist child, she should very much have the right to abort the child. Why would she want to bring that child into the world? Unless she really just wants the child that badly. But at that point, are you really willing to live a life of knowing your child is a rape baby? I mean, that just comes down to how you view it, I guess. El Barbero, why? I thought you said you were going. I thought you said good night. Why are you here still? A mixture of capitalism and communism. Well, why is that childlike? Why is trying to find solutions childlike to you? Are you that brainwashed as an American? How is that dumb? Can anyone explain how it's dumb for capitalism and communism, different aspects of them, to be combined into one? Can someone explain why that's bad? Having a capitalistic system of the more you work, the more you earn and gain, while still everyone gets treated equally. Why is that? Why is it hard to be nuanced about that? Because it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? What does that mean? I don't know why you're saying it doesn't work when we haven't even made an attempt at that. Are you so hostile as a patriotic American against the idea of any form of communism and associate with socialism so hard that we can't even think that maybe certain aspects could be okay to implement? We really can't just do that? We can't just discuss this? I thought the whole point was to discuss differences. Why are we shutting down possible ideas of something that could be a good thing? We all get treated equally. A lot of people do not. A lot of people do not get treated equally. And if you say otherwise, you're full of shit. Do you not see the news in the world we live in? So many people do not get treated equally. They don't and never will. Of goods and service, equal equity and all. They're literally polar. Hence the reason why certain aspects, you fucking dummy. Aspects. Not the entirety. Aspects of them. Nuance. You fucking fish-brained. Oh my God. Oh, God. That's what we do now? What the fuck do taxes have to do with anything? What? I'm just talking about the aspects of these systems, not the fucking entirety of them. Oh my God. What things about proper equality for people, such as proper healthcare? Just because it's been corrupted by Russia how it has in China doesn't mean that proper equalized healthcare can't be a thing. There should be equality with that. There should be more equality when it comes to certain jobs positions. There should be equality when it comes to women's rights, when it comes to abortion or not. Things like that. That is... Yes, it's been corrupted. Of course it's been corrupted by Russia. That's like blaming the gun for killing someone. It's not the gun that's corrupted, it's the motherfucker that is. It's not the communist system itself that's corrupted. It's how it's utilized that makes it corrupted. Is it really hard for people to comprehend that? Is it really that difficult? It's not. It's really not difficult to understand that. It's just not hard. It's not. It is not difficult to get that. I'm sorry, it just isn't. It is perfectly understandable. Perfectly understandable. If you disagree, you're a fucking dunce. That's on you for being a fucking dunce. That's it. What? It's true. Ah. So, I'm naming solutions. What solutions would you like to discuss? That's why I'm here talking about this. Communism was done by the Jews. I'm not reading Mein Kampf, you fucking anti-Semitic piece of shit. Read Mein Kampf. Read Hitler's book. No, you fucking wannabe Nazi. I'm not saying anyone who disagrees with me is dumb. Why are you putting words in my mouth, dog? If you want to feel fucking dumb, feel free to. That's your choice as an American, not mine. Pro-choice. How much do you think baby Hitler benched? About Tree City. Humans need insensitive? You mean incentive? Oh, predict the world we live in terms of Nazism? Yeah, you're right. Look at the president. At least he doesn't hate Jews. Yeah, someone who's also ethnically Jewish. That's a good thing. I'm surprised you didn't assume I was one with how much people do that. It's not really a new system when it's just aspects of different ones combined into one. I don't think that's hard to understand. I really don't. Every country that's ever incorporated a form of socialism / communism is having its economy collapse because it's poor implementation at that point. That's not the system itself that's to blame. That's the implementation of it. There's a difference there. It's not hard to understand that. It's not hard. It really is not. Just because people want to keep using constant failures as an example of why something can eventually succeed, because because this mindset is just so pessimistic, does not mean it 100% applies. It doesn't. Yeah, I do need to get off. I got things to do. How would you implement it? Well, I can't just give you a solution like that. It's something that would have to be discussed and talked about and implemented over time. This is a process that takes time. These things take time. Years, decades, centuries. You can't just immediately decide a solution that's that definitive that quickly. That's just not how any of this works. I'm not saying I expect these results, if this were to happen, to be an overnight process. I'm simply saying that certain aspects of other political other economic strategies can work with the right implementation. Anything can work with the right implementation. That will always be my mindset on anything. Well, I can't give a solution to something that would take time. It takes time. That's it. And I've already given examples with equality with things such as pro-life. I don't see how that in itself wouldn't count as a form of equality. If you have the choice of pro-choice, how is that not it? Because it doesn't fall under the exact term communism? That could be capitalism. It could be. But it just comes down to how it's implemented. Ultimately, terms are just that. They're terms. That's why I don't like to go off terms. I like to go off implementations of policies, regardless of what it's called. That's what it comes down to for me. I just care about policies themselves. I'm not saying that's to do with communism. I'm just saying that in terms of equality. I'm not talking about the whole system itself. Again, aspects of it, not the entirety of it. Why is it so fucking hard for people to understand? Why is this so difficult? It's not hard. It's not hard. I just. How is it retarded? Y'all are telling me to explain something. I'm explaining things, but then you guys won't explain why what I'm saying is dumb. That's true, Seth. Sorry you don't agree with everything that's under law. That's simple. Why? I mean, if I don't agree with something, why? Yeah, there's plenty of things there are some things I don't agree with in law. Yeah, what about it? Am I supposed to argue that? What? Yeah, there's some things I don't like. What about it? Yeah, I think it's time to get off. I've been here. Yeah, it's been 2 hours. All right, guys. Thanks for the stream support. Not VC tonight. I'm not going to do VC tonight. It'll happen again soon. But I'm going to come back tomorrow for the next stream, guys. Thank you all very much. It is so highly appreciated, as always. And I will be back tomorrow for more. So until then, I'm out. Later.